Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Ivan
Ivan
Files.
Files. There you
We
go.
have with us Shelby
Hello,
and Ellie
that's right.
and Kelly
That's me.
and Mark. And we're going to talk about taxes today because that was what was selected last time. And
Tax.
this is not a subject that people really like very much because they have to do them, but what I found out, not a whole lot, is that in comparing the taxes, it was rarely more than 5% taxes below the 1942-44 World War II thing. During the war, however, for income at 200,000 or more, it was 94%, which was fairly nice. I asked for a ratio, but AI told me that it was very difficult to come up with a ratio because of the progressive tax thing that we have in this country. So it's hard to. It would almost be a moving ratio, depending on the day and the time. And so one could do that, but it would take some calculation to do it. So that's pretty much what we got going. The questions that emerge are for us, which probably spawned the question, was are we getting what we pay for in a tax thing? It's like if you go to the store and you pay your tax money and you get something for it, you know, like a loaf of bread or a can of orange juice or some dang thing. But what's your idea? Are we getting what we pay for?
So this here says the highest tax rate during the Second World War was 94% of incomes over 200K.
Uh-huh.
No way, bro.
So they charge 94% to anybody making 200,000 or more.
94% of 200 is.
Of taxable income. You always have to put taxable income.
Well, I would
there.
imagine that is taxable income. If they're reporting 200, then they've made 200,000. 200,000 times.
Sure.
How was there not a revolution then?
That means that they only take
Huh?
home $12,000 a year. That
Well,
can't
we
be
had a
right.
war going, that's why
It has
there
to be
was
the other way. It has
no.
to be a 6% tax.
Yeah, and FDR needed more
It has
money.
to be the inverse.
We needed more planes and more ships.
I'll look it up.
The shipyards there at Vancouver, for the Kaiser shipyards, were those Liberty ships. They were knocking them out about one a week,
Yeah.
and they were built for one trip, and that was one trip over. The Victory ships were built a little stronger than that, and they could maybe make more than one trip, but the Liberty ships were just disposable
everybody over $2
steel
million
virtually. They'd pack it up with whatever they needed to have in Europe and send them off across the ocean.
Wow.
And they got sunk a lot by German subs until we got airplanes that could fly out far enough to see those subs down there, and then they'd bomb them. And so the Germans didn't have that privilege anymore.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, they put their subs out there. They get them
That's what the
bombed.
AM says,
Also,
but that
if-
feels suspect.
Yeah.
If 200.
You know, I guess it kind of goes to, I think if you look at it in the realm of the movie Robin Hood, you know, where the sheriff or the king or whatever, the sheriff taxed everybody, went around and basically took
Yeah.
what they wanted for tax.
The tax collectors, yeah.
It does feel that way right now a little bit, but I think why people are struggling with paying taxes today is the bang for the buck.
Is it what?
is the bang for the buck, like,
Oh, bank for the.
So can I ask, where do most of our taxes go?
it depends. You got all the bills and everything that we write, that we pass, or that we decline, are written out when you vote about where that budget, now, the only time I will decline something instantly is if the last statement says, or into the general budget.
Because you don't know where it's going.
Because then they're saying, this is where we'd like to go, but we have the option to put it in the general budget. Anytime it says that, I don't pass it.
They always do anyway.
But there's a few that haven't, but it should be going like roads, schools, things like that, but it's not.
So what is,
The,
Go.
the general fund is what,
This is
they can
from
put anything in the general fund that they wanna put it in there.
visualcapitalist.com. Of every $1, 22 cents goes to Social Security, 14 cents to Medicare, 14 cents to health, whatever that is, 13 cents to national defense, 13 cents to income security. Major programs include food assistance and disability insurance, 11 cents to net interest, 5% to veterans benefits and services, 2% transportation, 2% commerce, 4% other. So the lion's share is Social Security at 22 cents of every dollar.
Yeah,
So how many cents did you just say?
100,
I mean, I'm assuming it's 100.
22, 32, 30,
Oh, of a dollar that's, of the dollar of tax.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got you, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
so you're telling me 11% of all taxes that are collected go to collect interest for the government?
Ouch. Well, the insurance on the debt, right? The net insurance.
On the debt that they've
Net
created?
interest, excuse me.
Mhm.
Net interest
But,
on the debt.
And how much of each dollar is going to national security?
13 cents. 13%.
And we're the number one military in the world by 15 miles, right?
The Department of War.
By like 15 miles. It's not even like a close comparison.
I would
Amer-
say Russia's probably right there with us, and China's not too far behind us.
It's
You know-
actually not true.
You would
Really?
imagine. You would imagine
The United
Russia's
States
having.
has the most powerful military by a long shot.
We do?
Yeah,
I would imagine Russia's kind of using some of that stuff up right now.
Yeah,
too.
maybe so.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah. What are you getting? Back to your question, what are we getting for our taxes? And I think that's why you've seen so much hubbub about like Doge in the last. Was it only 6 months ago?
It feels like eternity,
It's
doesn't
like
it?
forever ago, but it
Feels
wasn't
like
very long
forever
ago. But that's why Doge got the clicks and attention that it did, is because a lot of us as Americans feel like, what are we getting for our input into the government? And it feels like there's some negligent spending going on in the government. So I think that's a valid question.
So it says the United States has the world's most powerful military, consistently ranking first due to its unmatched defense budget, advanced technology like a modernized nuclear triad and largest air force, and extensive global presence. Other highly ranked countries include China, Russia, and India, though the U.S. maintains a significant lead.
Huh.
So it makes me wonder, if we have such a significant lead, why isn't some of that budget going towards like educating people? I don't know. Like I
I would imagine to maintain it is pretty, I would imagine it wouldn't take much for us to lose that notch, if we didn't maintain it. So that's
yeah, that's right.
to maintain it. But, you know, and I'm a strong believer in we need our military strong. I'm a huge military person. That being said, I make 3 rights and I'm driving down the most horrific road in the world and nobody's gonna pay to have my struts replaced.
Maybe not the world.
One of them.
Maybe not.
No,
the
I mean,
world.
you know what I'm saying? In my world.
Yeah, yeah.
In my world. I don't drive on too many roads that are that bad.
but so
That
then-
one is.
So, but how do, the other thing that I think about too is I won't have Social Security someday. I won't.
I don't know. I would pause on that only because I don't believe that there will ever be a time that the government will be courageous enough to take that away because you're paying in today
Yeah, but will I
And-
get what I put into it out of it?
I don't know that any of us will.
And so how does that, so it doesn't, that doesn't, and like the articles that I read tell me that there won't be security by 2034. In 2034, I'll be 35 years old,
Wow.
less than 40. No, not
Does that mean
35,
that you won't be paying it too?
No, they'll continue to take it from my paychecks. It's not like I can do anything about it, but I know that when I'm 80, when I'm 65, I won't get a paycheck from Social Security, and that really
Well,
that bums
unless
me
you-
out because 22% of my income goes to something that I will never get. Not that I don't like to care for old people, I do, but also like the system is broken. If people our age are not going to get Social Security someday, why are we paying 22% of our income into
There's
it?
gonna be,
I don't think that'll happen. I really don't.
There's gonna
And that's
be
not my
a,
confidence in the government.
there'll be some adjustments, but it may not be called Social Security, but there's gonna be some socialist, adjustment to make sure that people get paid for, that are old, and that they get care. Now, Mr. Our current president may have some question about that, and our current Congress, although I don't know. They're not touching, Medicare as far as I can tell.
The other hard part is Social Security at this point doesn't even, like, it can't cover coverage for older people.
No,
Like, the Social Security checks are not, like, they don't take care of elderly people. It's not enough money.
well, what do we do about that?
Without congressional action, benefits would be reduced in 2035 to approximately 83% of the scheduled amount. Now, we just went to a seminar that the guy addressed this, and that's why I was thinking about that. Can you remember what he said about that? That Social Security will go down, but it's not going to go away.
But so by the time I'm 65, if it's gone down 17% in 5 years, by the time I'm 65, does that mean it'll be 50% or less of
Well,
what it
there's
is now?
so you have to hope. I don't know that it's possible, but you have to hope that the other things will be put in place to counter that, like maybe free medical or something for that age generation. But there's a formula, and we had it written down, that it changes to refill that pot soon. So, like, our Social Security will change too, but it won't affect them. It will affect us. But depending on when you take it, a lot of people are taking Social Security very early, disability, things like that. And that's what's depleting our pot right now.
See, and I don't have, like, there are a lot of things that I don't have a lot of faith in our government.
No.
That by the time I'm 65, I'll be taken care of. The only people that I can trust are myself and my partner who are actively earning income, so I make my own investments.
Well, that's the
Because I don't trust that the government will take care of me.
No, they won't, honey.
conservative perspective. is-
Conservative.
Yes, that we take care of ourselves, that the government should not, in fact, take care of us, that we should have sufficient
Funds.
savings and funds to take care of ourselves, and nobody does. Maybe beyond well, some people do, beyond $100 or so. So, what you're voicing is a very conservative thing. What you, to get yourself taken care of, you need to say, well, I'll participate in governmental stuff that'll help take care of older people. And that may change some of what we get and what we have to pay and all that sort of stuff. But if I say, well, I'm just going to take care of myself, that's very conservative. Very conservative.
But to her point, I agree with you on that, and I don't think he's,
I understand what he's saying.
yeah. I agree with
I
that.
understand what you say, though.
But I think that your generation is a pretty prime example. I think your generation was busy absolutely scratching and clawing, and the things that, like people that bought a house in 1950 and they're turning it and selling it for 8 times the value of that, right? That is happening.
800 times the value.
800 times the value, it feels like,
Well,
right?
Cindy's start crying.
California. and
But it's
coming
true,
up here,
but then my generation saw that our generation started hearing that threat of Social Security going away, and that it's not gonna be there. So we had to make sure there were funds set aside for us. I would say that, and I don't know what this percentage is, but I would say that it's not a high percentage of people in my generation that have planned for their aging. They did not plan for their aging. I would say part of my generation is planning for their aging. I would say your generation is planning more so for their aging. And so it's kind of that trickle down effect. Do you see what I'm trying to say? But Social Security was never, what you put in it wasn't supposed to pay for today's people.
No,
See, that's
It
the
doesn't-
mistake that they
it
made.
didn't account for inflation.
No, and now Social Security is paying for the people on it today. And instead, every dollar you're putting in should be going for when you,
So the interest can,
Yes.
like, make up for
and that's
that.
not what's happening.
It's the only legal Ponzi scheme that exists.
It is a Ponzi scheme.
Huh?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Ponzi scheme. You gotta get premiums in order to pay what you need to pay. And
I'll give you an example.
other Ponzi schemes are illegal, of course, but
Our Social Security
government can
will,
do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Here's something even weirder to think about. Our Social Security may just cover our taxes and insurance on where we live.
Yeah.
Put that to it, right? Because of what's happening in inflation, what's happening in property taxes, not our doing. You buy right, you buy what you can afford, but then they assess and they assess and they assess. So now it's set forth where our generation's Social Security, quite honestly, will probably pay the majority of my generation's tax and insurance for the property they live at.
You wanna hear something crazy?
So it's like this
It's
funnel
terrible.
of, we're gonna give you that Social Security and you're gonna give it back to us with tax and insurance. Because that's all, so it's this vicious, weird effing cycle.
And that's, like, property taxes is all state and local. It's all state and local. My mom's property, your guys' went up, your guys' property taxes just went up, my mom's went up. You wanna know why they went up? Because the state of Fairbanks put 4 people, like 20 years ago, they put them in jail and they were wrongfully convicted.
And they're sued.
And they sued for 11 million and they got it, and the state of Fairbanks didn't have it. And so they upped property taxes. And that's
See, now
they're
how is
gonna pay
that?
them.
Property tax is supposed to go for schools, roads, community infrastructure, parks. It's supposed to go for community-based stuff.
Yeah, how's that right?
How's that right? But again, if when you vote, you're voting and you only vote on that top part, and down below they put or into general fund.
that's right. And that's what you have to remember, is that anything you vote for, dollars, can be put in the general fund.
Unless it's not stated.
Well, even if it is stated, I've seen it be put in the general fund anyway. And so then the legislature can do what the hell it wants with it. And that's where our tax dollars are not as sacrosanct for like schools and all that. There are some things about schools that are pretty solid, but they can put anything into the general fund they want to.
Like, let's talk about alcohol tax in the state of Washington.
Marijuana.
Let's tax that shit.
It is.
Am I paying tax on that when I go in there?
No, like it's lumped into the taxes that, I guess those taxes are lumped into the pay on,
I think you are paying.
are we paying?
I'm not
We
paying
are.
tax when I go up to, unless they put it in the price.
My receipt always
Oh,
says that it's
really?
in the price. Like
Yeah.
they break it down by like local and marijuana tax and,
Well, I remember the street value used
Not
to
that I
go a lot
purchased marijuana.
further than the shops did.
I'm just
You're
saying,
illegal.
why,
I mean,
why?
back in my day,
I wanna know
Yeah.
with the alcohol tax, for example, what percentage of that tax goes to rehab facilities?
well, that's going to be state, right?
Right,
So,
but what
I
is
mean,
that
that's-
tax for? Why is there such a huge tax on booze
Or
They
cigarette
tell
tax?
you,
or cigarettes?
they tell you that that's what they wanna do with it.
But is that what
But
they
if
do?
they
with
come
it?
up short about stuff for the state, they can put that money in the general fund. So your funds are never
Where does all that money come from?
secure about anything you think is being paid for. Because the state has that option to always put
Imagination
something,
Department?
put their money
That's
in the
literally what
general
it's called.
fund to pay the bills that
Yeah,
they have to
Department of
pay.
Imagination, State of Washington.
How is it that
Ah.
we can, how is it that this, how do you change that? You don't.
It
Well-
is a movement. It is not one singular person. It has to be a, like,
Huge revolt
It
kind
has-
of a
So,
situation.
well, the government
Yeah.
only works if the citizens have faith in what's happening in the government.
oh, we've been
Right.
losing faith for a minute.
Yeah, like money only works because we have faith that money will be of value, right? So when you get to this point where it's the government is so heavy on the society, it then creates this looking over your shoulder type animosity within the general
Civil
public.
unrest.
That's going to cause, yeah, civil unrest. That's going to cause
Protests.
a change in government. And what we're seeing right now is a lot of people feel like they're not able to succeed in this country. And I think that the next person that we're going to see the Dems put up is going to be more socialist leaning than anybody we've seen yet.
Yeah.
And it's because they're people that do not have faith in the government. For every dollar I make, you're taxing how much, and it's going to the people with drug problems on the street. Like, what are we doing? I can barely afford rent, and now I got to help this guy get off drugs. Like, that mentality, as soon as that narrative is shared throughout society, we're going to be pushed into a socialist direction.
But-
And I think that's coming.
People aren't gonna
Yes,
like that either,
I
though.
agree.
No,
Yeah.
people aren't gonna like that either.
Because they're gonna
Yeah.
have more of their money taken.
Right, but you feel safe if the government's going to take care of you, right?
But I have not had any reassurances that the government's gonna take care of me. At all. So why would I put
think
somebody
you're
in there
right.
who's gonna promise me a bunch of things that won't come true?
Yeah.
But look at like the last couple of generations with Social Security specifically. They all kept going to work day in and day out because they knew at the end of the rainbow there'd be a pot of gold,
Yeah.
which was Social Security. So it incentivized them to stay in the workforce, which at the end of the day is all the government cares about. The rats stay on the wheel, right? So whatever we have to do to keep them on the wheel, we're going to do it. Yeah, Social Security, yep, fine, we'll take care of it. But those same promises are going to be made in this next election, and the worry is going to be the money that we're paying to the government isn't fruitful for its citizens. So we're going to see a lot of promises made in this next election cycle that probably aren't going to come to fruition, but I believe they're going to push socialists.
You know, one of the things that pissed me off, and I don't get pissed off that often about the taxing thing, I really don't. It frustrates me.
Yeah.
It disappoints me, and it makes me feel like I live somewhere that, you know, sucks sometimes, but it doesn't suck. If you look at other countries, we do have it really good here, okay? We really do. However, when I hear that we are building a new room on the White House for $220 million,
Right?
What's it for?
it's for parties.
Is it?
So that when
This is the Rose Garden, right?
when we have parties and women are dressed in their beautiful gowns and men are dressed in their beautiful tuxedos, they feel like they're somewhere nice. We're doing that.
Yeah.
Look it up. It's crazy.
And where does the $220 million come from?
You and me,
And why don't I get to go to parties there?
you're not invited. You're not of that upper echelon.
Yeah. One,
I look pretty in a party dress.
You look amazing at parties. We could all go
I
to
look
these
pretty.
parties and these mother effers would be like, I want to be their friend.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, it would be the life of the party.
I recall,
Building a kingdom.
in my,
Where's the castle?
my payments for, Social Security, they take a certain amount out of your check, you know, do it. The government does that ahead of time. You don't have to mess with it. They
Oh,
do
I know, they
okay.
take it right off the top, man.
Yeah.
They don't
Well,
care about me.
It
They don't care about my
increased.
bills.
I'm trying to remember the percentage it increased, but it increased significantly at a certain point because the government needed more money for that. And so you had to pay more
World War II?
more taxes, yeah, more social security taxes.
Yeah, people who were making $2 million a year were only actually making 120,000.
I wasn't making any of that. I was, they still took what, the percentage.
You ready?
I'm ready.
The projected cost of the 90,000 square foot ballroom addition to the White House is $200 million. According to the Trump administration, the construction will be funded by private donations from President Trump and other patriot donors. Bullshit. Not by U.S. taxpayers.
I want to see the books.
It ain't gonna happen.
We all want to see the books.
We all want to
We all
see the
wanna
books. But so if you can get
Which is why
Okay,
we were
we're
so
in-
excited about Elon being in there.
right, but if you can, we're in the charity business,
Uh huh.
right?
Okay.
If you can get those people together to build a fancy ballroom, why can't you get those same people together to ensure that we have great transportation in this country? I'm talking the best train system there is, right? Because trains are cool. I'm telling you, trains are cool.
I like trains.
Trains are cool.
I would like it if they moved faster.
Yep. And so why can't you get him to do that? Why can't you get him those same oligarchs, because that's what they are, to make sure that education through college or technical school is paid for.
Well, let's not talk about that.
I'm
Let's-
just
let's
saying,
not.
why can't you have those same people come together instead of building a fancy, pretty room
Because there has to be a benefit to it.
to them? There has to be a benefit to them.
But if they have a ballroom, more negotiations, and then they can throw parties and like
Suicide.
rent it out.
They ain't gonna rent that out. They're not gonna rent out a 90,000. It's gonna be for the king.
Yeah,
It's a king's room. Period. End of story.
I had something to say.
He is not. He is not a monarchy. So in England, those monarchs,
Have no
they got
power.
zero power, but they have all the power.
They have the social power,
And social power is what drives people.
and it is super powerful because people will follow you. It's influential.
Yes.
It's the parliament that has.
So it's the parliament that's got the power, but the parliament, mm-mm.
The House of Lords and.
So it's interesting to me. When I saw that on the news, I thought, that feels really weird.
I
And
had
almost
not read
icky.
about that. That makes me
90,000 square feet.
upset.
That's
How
a
big is 90? I don't even know how big
big
that
ass
is.
room.
Because I
Huge.
think my house is like 1,900 square feet. So I'm trying to think what 90,000 square feet looks like.
Can you, what is
Huge.
I don't know. Like, I don't.
this is a cube,
Huge.
and this is about 1,000 square feet.
So
It's-
90 of these.
I think it's
90 of these.
something that the Washington Senators can off-season play football in.
Yeah.
Wait, how big is a stadium? Wait, how big is a stadium? Because I don't actually know. How many square feet is
Let's just
Lumen?
get onto our AI here.
Get onto our Google.
Is that the one that's in Seattle, Lumen Field?
How many square feet? How many square feet is Lumen Field?
What part of it?
1.5 million square feet.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
find.
How much for the playing area and how much for the audience area?
But the roof covers approximately so half a Lumen Field.
Huh,
Half a Lumen Field's roof is this size of this building.
Hmm.
That's a big building.
That's a big
yes,
building.
it is.
That's a big building. You'll be able to put a lot of people in there.
You'll be able to put a few people in there wearing
A lot of
cocktail
people in there.
dresses and feeling pretty.
And the good news is the government's there to make sure that all the street people are figured out.
Yes.
Versailles, the Palace at Versailles is a 90,000 square foot palace.
The what?
So this is gonna be a 91,000 square.
I mean, 91,000 square foot building. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just, the only reason I brought that up is that, you know, the superfluous spending doesn't stop even though our social security has your generation concerned.
No, and you know what's crazy? Is
Like-
like, think about this.
Who's living there?
You
Sorry.
you make $1. Like a business makes $1. They pay a tax on that dollar. They
For doing it.
for doing it. They then give that dollar to their employee, and there is a percentage on that dollar.
Mhm.
That same dollar is then spent at the store,
Percentage.
and there's a percentage on that dollar. So every time that $1 changes
around.
hands,
It becomes a negative dollar.
it becomes, yes, there's more tax generated from $1 than we realize, because
Yeah.
we're constantly moving it through the system, and every
Yeah.
time it moves, you have to pay a percentage of that back to the government.
When you look at it that way, that's bizarre.
Well, and you wonder why we have inflation.
Just
Yeah.
like I think we may have stopped, or we are stopping making pennies because the cost of
Yeah.
making a penny is more
Never getting
than.
rid of my pennies.
I got a huge jug.
They're not going anywhere.
Keep
Oh,
my pennies.
It's my money. It's our money.
Next comes nickels.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta be honest, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make
And
sense.
honestly, have you tried to pay with cash recently?
It's very difficult.
You are doing your fellow man a disservice by handing them cash. You're like,
Oh God, I gotta count this. Let me put it in my machine and it'll tell you what to count.
in Alaska, I paid with cash, and the gal had to call her manager over to help her with the transaction. She was an older gal. I mean, she was probably mid-50s.
Well, how many places do you go? Lumen Field, prime example. You cannot pay with
Can't.
cash there.
And the thing that drives me crazy about that is if you use that Amazon deal,
Costs you money.
you don't even know how much you're paying. There's no pricing on the bottles. There's no pricing
You
at the
walk
thing.
out.
You just walk in, walk out, and
Go
take
home
it
and
on
look at the
faith
email.
that you got it right.
$600 for a beer?
$600? You're not kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Good
I
topic,
mean,
Dad.
Very good topic.
Mm.
Very
topic.
Yeah. Well,
Just want to say that rather than democracy or humanity, I should have read capitalism or humanity in our last discussion. And somewhere along the line, we're going to get back to, I'm going to get back to psychic energy and deal with that a little bit because it's getting left in the lurch.
How about we do our next podcast on the elderly and technology?
Well,
that might hit too close to home.
Be a great podcast.
allergy and what?
Elderly and technology.
Well, we're going to get Elon Musk in there?
Well, I mean, I think that there could be all kinds of things we could talk about the elderly and technology.
All right, I'll write it down. I don't know what I can research.
Things are going to get real crazy real quick.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be like elderly robots. There's going to be like
Elderly robot.
elderly robots.
Seriously.
Robots for the elderly. This is
Yep.
how we should have said that. But
You're
yeah,
gonna have
elderly robots is a fun
Robots
concept
with
too.
wrinkles on there.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right, say goodbye, Dad.
Hey, give us an email if you'd like, and we'll see you next week. Yeah, talking about the elderly and technology.